PSTMP 7423 and UOP 960, but we don't address the gasoline. And the only method that talks about gasoline is 4815. It talks about percent level, not the low PV. Actually, the oxygenate in hydrocarbons, it's complicated analysis because something like gasoline has hundreds of peaks. So you have coevolutions, you don't know how to tackle it, either by boiling point separation based on polarity. And if I look at oxygen, it has a wide range of polarities. I have a table that shows like a comparison here between polarities of hydrocarbons and some oxygenate. And you see like oxygenate it fell downward, like mesophytic butyl ether start at 2.5 and range to methanol at 5.1 in polarity index. Where if you look at the ethyl ether, which is number 9 on my table based on polarity, it's first boiler, it boils at 35 C. So there is not easy way to separate these components from each other. So how do we address this limitation? And then in the meantime, we want to save helium. Helium is becoming very expensive, becoming an issue, and we'd like to use different carrier gas other than helium. So we employ the Claris 680 Perkinelmer Claris 80 gas per gram. It has a split injector, flame ionization detector, a non-polar pre-column, separate component based on boiling point, and then a Swafer where the heart of the experiment or the separation or the switching will happen, and then a high selectivity column. We use a nitrogen carrier gas. And then after I demonstrate the experiment, we're going to discuss that versus the standard methods. So this is a capillary injector, splitless, and this is the pre-column. This is a Swafer. This is a switching device. And the Swafer, I go in this next slide, it looks, it's a nickel in size. It's very, very small actually. I have one that I have in my pocket, so I can show you how big it is. It's about the size of a nickel, 5 cents. And at the end of that, this is the analytical column we use and the FID is my detector. So here this picture shows like we have two versions of Swafer. D-Swafer, which is identical to D-switching, or S-Swafer, which I use in my experiment. And S stands for splitting. How that's splitting. This is a bigger image of a Swafer. It has a 6-port. I said it's about 5 cents in size. It's basically a wafer. Each layer is about 80 micron thickness. They are laser etched into that metal that made that material. And those channels are 50 micron in size. As you see at port 5 in my experiment here, this is my pressure source. At port 6, I connect the pre-column that's where all the sample will be injected and separated in here. And then you can split up to 4 different outlets at the other side. So at the beginning of the experiment, I started at a high head pressure here, was about 45 psi of nitrogen. And then I ended at 2 psi where that mid pressure is constant throughout the experiment. So when I had a forward flow, and then at the end of the experiment, I lowered the head pressure at a certain time to back flush whatever the component that's not my interest to analyze. So this is a splitter, so I have a restrictor here and my column. And this restrictor diameter and length would determine the flow on the analytical column and also on the back flushing. So we determined that 30 centimeter of 0.1 millimeter ID restrictor is the sweet spot for this analysis. So when I injected the sample at 0 minutes, so this is how it looks like in the gray column. This is short 50-meter column, right, or so very much no separation in the first one. But I'm able to determine if I connect that restrictor to my FID, I got this chromatogram. And by knowing where my sweetest spot, where the component of interest actually fills with that section. So all that section will make it to the analytical column, and the rest of these will get backflush. When I lower the head pressure, this is constant. This is the experiment parameters, the GC, and as I mentioned, I started experiment when my head pressure was at 45 psi, and then I lowered it to 2, where my midpoint pressure is still stable at 33. So when that dropped down, then I started back flushing. In the meantime, I maintain the flow into the analytical column, where the separation will happen in the main column. And these are the temperatures that are programmed throughout the experiment. I used my blank, the solvent I used is isooctane. So this is a blank run. As you see, it's very stable baseline. And this is my separation. These are 22 oxygenate, range from C1 to C5. And as you see, it's very good separation within 22 minutes. Standard method that published it talks about 30-minute run with helium carrier. This is with nitrogen. This is a 22 ppm oxygenated standard. Also, I made a 1 ppm mixture to determine my detection limit. And if I look at methanol, which is FID, very sensitive to the carbon-hydrogen bond, to the carbon. So methanol is the only component that has 1 carbon in it. And I determined detection limit with this method at 0.1 ppm. That's exceed the standard method that's published. So linearity, these are, I arrange about 5 to 6 different standard ranging from 1 ppm to about 70 ppm or 75 ppm. And you can see that the methanol is very linear. Diethyl ether, this is our selected, most of the component was on average. No, it's only 20 minutes, so I cannot show all the 22 components. So I'm going through. This is MTPE. So this is a little periodic table that compare my result versus, I picked ESDM method. You have this RSD and repeatability estimation. So if I look at them, at their numbers versus my numbers at 5 ppm standard, very well exceeded the numbers. And at 16%, all my RSD was less than 2%. On that analyzer that sampled, we can add liquid sampling valve, or gas sampling valve for gaseous sample, or liquid stream butane, or whatever liquid that need to be analyzed, hydrocarbon stream to be analyzed for oxygen. Also, we found that the particle trap column before the flame ionization connected to the end of the analytical column would help reduce the noise, because some particle from the analytical column actually will make spikes on the detector. It really helped making a very clean baseline. Also, as a recommendation, that the plot column that we use for this analysis is very sensitive to moisture and CO2. So it's a very good idea to always leave it at a hotter temperature than your temperature of analysis. This is a manufacturing schematic. This system shows a liquid sampling valve and a gas sampling valve, both at separate heated zone. And these are the instrument level. This is the Swafer, and this is the midpoint pressure. And this is a particle trap I mentioned before. It's very helpful. Summarize my experiment. The system is very high throughput. It's 23 minutes with using nitrogen carrier. The result demonstrated exceeded the standard method in ESTM and UOB. Of course, nitrogen carrier is reproducible. We have a lot of nitrogen. Helium is running out. We can use so much, and then at a certain point we won't have it anymore. Swafer, which is really helped a lot with this experiment, and it's a different approach than gene switching. Swafer allows me to monitor the pre-column chromatography as well as backflushing. And backflushing that really make the chromatography very cleaner, easy to identify your peaks without any interference or co-evolution. Also, the use of restrictor allow me to determine the length and ID of that restrictor. It really helps determine the flows, the backflushing, and the flow that going through the analytical column. And as I showed before, the data was very good, excellent data precision. That's it. I'm ready for any questions. Thank you for your attention.
We have time for questions.